Here's the lessons about stack buyers and stack sellers. When there's a large amount of buyers or sellers, like you're seeing over here, the price return again to unlock this. Now you're seeing that there's a buyer sitting right here. There is a smart buyer 43. The delta 101 is in this side of the candle. We can see in this block. And there's a 20, 31, 24. Those are buyers. What happens with these buyers that they stuck at the very top of the structure and on the top of the candle. Now we're seeing the absorption that pushed the price down. Now after that situation, I may expect that the price will come back. Even right now, yeah, the price is showing the very opposite direction. We're going down. How far we're going to go? Probably there's a first marker is the previous low. Now, because there's some sellers sitting here and stuck. So the price probably will mitigate or touch this area. Large 32 seller sitting right here. And at least will touch the half of that block. Okay, now we're seeing that there's a chunk of buyers ready over here, imbalanced buyers. Okay, now it's created a zone. So now we unlock these guys. So now those are no longer sitting in trap. We created a new trap sellers right over here. Okay, and we can mitigate this zone immediately. Sitting in a trap sellers, when we mitigate, that means we come in the same area second time. If we do it, then we unlock these guys because they want to continue sell. And then it's better, of course, to see the situation on the even smaller time frame. But okay, right now I see that the price is coming back to this area. Unlock them. Okay, creates another sellers that's sitting in the trap. That's totally okay with me. Now let's see what's gonna happen. If they get overpowered by the buyers, not yet. Now what we're doing, the price is going lower. Now I see that there's absorption happens here, larger in a scale than on the previous one. So you see the price bounced on a larger distance. That is the good sign for us. Now this is the lesson about the sitting in a trap buyers and sellers. Now if the price is going to come back, okay, and unmitigate this or touch this area, that'd be wonderful for the sellers. Although we can leave it for a longer period of time. It may happen immediately or it may happen later. So right now we immediately unlocking these guys, nice. And I see what I see in real time, that there is not too many sellers sitting right here to compare with this amount, minus 20, 201 in a delta block over here, only minus 50. It's like what? 4 times less than over here. That means the sellers fading out. They get exhausted. Now the sellers almost not present over here. There's only 15 sellers right over here, but 250, and now there's only 10. So that means the sellers is losing its strength. Now that's why no wonder we're seeing the buyers over here starting to show up. So we need 2 power to show. One power is exhausted, like the sellers over here, and another power I need to feel that there's not too much resistance on a buying side, but the buyers needs to step in on its own. The buyers needs to step in. If they are not stepping in, then the price not gonna go higher. So this is kind of like intermediate candle. If you take a look the volume in this candle, the total volume in this very candle, which you can see in a gray indicator over here, gray out indicator, this is the total volume, and this is the delta 1, which is negative, and it's a large delta over here. Now we can see the volume was large. Now we can see that the seller is getting less in volume. Volume in the seller is getting less and less, practically, to compare with the previous one. Okay, now we need to see the buyers starting to show up, and this is the buyers starting to show up right over here. Now, this is the magnet, even we've get absorbed, but this is the magnet for the price to return at least to this area. But we know that there's a more sitting in the trap buyers as the magnet sitting much higher where we are, right even over there. Okay, in the first place, we can see them over here, but now let's see first what just happens. We came back into this area with the stack in balances. Right here, there's a zone with balances. Now we created what? We created strong movement on the upside, created more buyers sitting here, and there's more buyers over here. So we're moving steadily on the upside. What is attraction point for us? Again, the attraction point for us, we need to watch for the amount of buyers and sellers at the end of the each candle, end and beginning of the each candle. Of course, there is some in the middle that plays the role if there's a significant amount of them and they created a zone like this. Now, but my point is we're coming back to this area where the buyers sitting in the trap, and this is our target. Now, this is a demonstration how you can see on a footprint, based on the footprint data, based on the imbalances between the buyers and sellers, okay, right over here, becoming a magnet. And the price is supposed to come at least in this block, and boom, we actually fulfilled that mission. We came into that very block successfully, okay, even though it was hard to predict when we will come back. But the point is that the price usually come back if there's a significant buyers sitting in a trap, despite how long we're gonna go on opposite direction. We will create another chunk of sitting in a trap sellers right over here, although by the logic, because this candle came to this sitting in a trap 102 delta right in this chunk of this candle. Now, do you see the advantage when we're seeing not just a summary of the delta for the whole candle, but we're seeing where the delta in what fraction or portion of this candle sitting, like this block is 102. So when we came and mitigated this delta block, now we are no longer have the magnet to come back to this area again, because we came with this very candle, boom, the mission fulfilled, and we jumped out of this area into the opposite direction. Now, where we came, the first magnet was sitting in trap buyers right over here, then sitting in trap buyers right over here. So gradually, these two magnets fulfilled the mission on the moving candles on the upward direction. Then we created a lot of imbalance zones on the way. You see this very zone, this is imbalance zone, this very zone, imbalance zone, buyers zone, buyers imbalance zone over here, and there is a smart buyer step in over here. And at the very tippy top of this candle, we created another numbers of the sitting in the trap buyers. Then price went down, unlocked them with this candle, came down, unlocked them, and we created a similar situation. So we moved what? To this area that at the very beginning of this tutorial, I promised to you that the price usually coming into this area. This is the goal of this lesson, that when there is a significant buyers sitting in a trap, the price you will experience, the price may come, go to the opposite direction. That's okay. We don't know the time. We cannot predict the time, but when we're seeing that the sellers exhausted right over here, they start exhausting actually right over here first time, then they exhausted right over here second time. So we can see that multiple exhaustions on the individual candles giving the upside reaction, and the buyers took over right over here and in this candle. Even this candle is red, but there's a lot of sitting buyers created imbalances to compare with the sellers, especially right over here. So that become the magnet. So the price even went down, then it's returned. So it works like a spring. So this works as a spring. We just like came back to the same area. So we no longer, you see these three candles, they indicate us that we no longer need to come back and mitigate or touch this delta block area. You see the delta blocks are really superb way to trade. Instead of waiting the delta for the total delta candle, we're seeing where this seller is sitting. Now with the delta block 107 or 20 is less, of course, but this is like significant. So this is the way we can expect that the price will come back to this area. And now you see with what force we came back. You see amount of blues over here. That's just a significant amount of the buyers in this candle. Now, what happens at the very end over here? The similar situation. Now, this situation is where a lot of buyers sitting right here at the very top of this candle, both of these candles. So the price have this area as the magnet, as the point of attraction, or what I call reasoning or objective for the price to return into this price area. Now, let me see what is the current situation. And although it's difficult to predict the time when we will come back, but every time when I'm counting on the pullbacks and trading pullbacks, first what I need to, instead of just like simply relying from what area the price will bounce at and find a support somewhere in this region probably, now I need to see the goal, the objective, the magnet the price will attract it to. When I see that is my number one time frame point, now I understand why the fight over here is happening, because these buyers needs to re-engage again somewhere in this pullback, and that's what is actually driving the whole pullback direction to pull back to this region. So my take profit will be right over here, somewhere like in this region. I can rely on a heat map or on the current MBO, which is immediate heat map in a quotes. But now I can predict the price will come back into this area. I can step in as a just like a way to prove it at any time.
Order filled.
At any time right here, and just for sake of the proof to show it to you that the market will return. Although it may take maybe one attempt or maybe couple attempts, but the price will return back. And this is what people on the price action will never see, the X-ray that you able to see right now. Now I see that there was absorption. What is going on over here? Price will come back. You see there's absorption now. I mean, if you want to enter, it's actually
Order submitted.
probably a good point of entry.
Order filled.
Although I'm not teaching you where to enter, but I do see multiple, when I see the multiple absorptions like that, one absorption significant, then absorption, then this is now significant absorption, because I see the two sellers, 51 and 94. This is a large absorption. How do you know it's absorption? Because green rectangles and the price move it away from the lowest. Don't let the sellers to continue sell. So they're not successfully selling. They enter into the sale over here, but now they're probably going to experience margin call. They will experience whatever you can call it as a stop losses. Although, larger institutions don't use what we as a traders use, and they have a larger accounts, and their mechanics of trading are very different. Now, they sitting in the trap. Just don't forget about that there's a large amount of the sellers now locked over here, and they feel pain. They experience that pain. They want price to come back into this area. Okay, now, but this is large imbalance zone on this very candle on the left. That's what's happening. And now we're moving. Where are we moving? I'm going to put it like somewhere around this area to prove the point with my exit that the price will come back in this region. That is my single point. I mean, I can make it more precisely over here and put it in the middle. So now it was really good to experience that. It was like a first wave to go up, then second wave, and
Target filled.
here we go. And now we experience what? We experience even a large smart buyer sitting here. Now the situation repeats. It's already repeated 2 times on this tutorial. Now you can see again that there is a large amount of buyers sitting at the very tippy top of this candle. And what's going to happen? So there's a large buyer, smart buyer, with a large zone like this, and there is a buyer zone out of the stock imbalances right there. Okay, and the price have to come back. Okay, at least we came back to the middle. Okay, so far, but it's not always the price coming back immediately. That's my point. So if price wanted to, okay, here we go. Did you see? Now it was a 102 and now 31. The buyers kind of like are fading in a numbers of orders, because this is a smart orders, but the zone for these 2 orders are very large. It took multiple ticks to go from here to match the orders on a passive and aggressive side. That's why this zone is larger, but we can see this zone with a very good precision, by the way. Okay, so that was the point of this lesson, that the price love to come back to trapped in buyers and trapped in sellers. In my framework, I'm not just trading this pullback. I do trading these pullbacks, and there's a mechanics. If you notice the correspondence between different factors, volume, delta 2, delta 1, speed of market, the imbalance zones like this, or smart buyers sitting in, expect you take profit in the area. At least this is the area where the previously locked in buyers were sitting on. Okay, this is the point of this lesson. First and primary factor is not exactly the small details of the footprints over here. Although I do have it in a separate lesson alone, what kind of factors and cofactors you can add together to expect this reverse or pullback completed. Yes, exactly. That's important. But the most important is the objectives or a goal or a reason or a magnet. Why this pullback must happen again. And by the way, don't forget that the one of the number one reason is the trend direction, and the main trend direction already happens after we found support over here, move it higher, higher and higher and higher. So this is on a larger time frame scale. Okay, so just always take a look at the buyers and sellers trapped and becoming as a magnet, but it's not just like a few of them. You need to consider the large amount of the sellers like this. So the price didn't promise me, but I do expect that there's a big chance now the price will reverse and will come back into this area. How soon? I have no idea. I do see that there's a large amount of the absorption happening here. So maybe this seller is now getting upset and they're trying to reverse at least in this micro scale, reverse the direction so they can unlock this trapped in seller sitting right over here.